So in this video we'll show you how to replace the rear brake pads on the Zontes 125 fuel injected models. We're also going to show you what tools you need and the torque settings. It's always best to start off with a list of tools that you need. You'll need a flathead screwdriver, a 5mm Allen key or hex socket, a ratchet, 3/8 is usually best for this application, a 12mm socket and a 14mm socket. Start by unscrewing this little cap with a flathead screwdriver. Then with a 5mm Allen key or hex socket, loosen the pin securing the pads in place. Then with a 14mm socket, loosen the front caliper bolt. Using a 12mm socket, loosen the rear caliper bolt, then remove it. Then going back to the 14mm socket, remove the front caliper bolt. Now you can take the caliper off. Then, using a 5mm Allen key or hex socket, you can remove the brake pin. At this point, it's a great time to service the caliper, but that's for another video. Firstly, make sure the piston is pushed back enough. Then, fit the new pads along with the brake pin. Nip it up with a 5mm Allen key or hex socket. This part is very important. Make sure both pads are seated properly onto the brake carrier, as you see here. Apply some lithium grease on the front caliper bolt, then position it in place. Then do the same with the rear one. Apply lithium grease, fit it, then nip it up by hand. Then hand tighten the front caliper bolt. Be very careful with this one because it can easily cross thread. And using a 14mm socket, nip it up. Now nip up the rear caliper bolt with a 12mm socket. Now tighten the brake pin with a 5mm Allen key or a hex socket. Using a flathead screwdriver, fit and tighten the cap. Now using a 12mm socket and a torque wrench, tighten the rear caliper bolt to 27 Nm. Using a 14mm socket and torque wrench, torque the front caliper bolt to 35 Nm. Pump the brake pedal to push the piston back out again. Now finally test the brake to make sure it operates correctly and doesn't bind. Then wipe off any excess Lydian grease from the sliders. Remember to bed your pads in, so gentle on the brake for a while. So that's how you replace the rear pads on the Zontes 125. It's quite easy to do. The spanner rating is only 1.5. They're available as standard EBC pads and HH, which is high performance EBC pads, on the website, link in the description, and subscribe for more videos.